rewording words.
Oh. So you're revising.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm writing like 2 songs.
Oh.
They're complex.
Oh, okay.
And I need to reword it so it would make sense to everybody else.
Oh, okay. I just wondered because you're playing like, you know, the background music, like you had a rap or something, and you don't.
No, not on video. This one's too emotional.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was gonna share it. After the video.
All right. So what do you want to talk about? You want to show off your new tattoo?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the glasses.
Oh, your new glasses that my friend sent to you.
Yeah, she's really nice. I actually look kind of good in these. You know, I like them. They work really good.
The really cool thing about that is that my mom used to have a pair of glasses exactly like that. They were antique, you know. She had them like setting up on I think on the desk. Actually, the desk that's in my library now. That was her desk when she was a little girl. I don't have the glasses, but they were almost exactly like that. That's kind of cool. Reminded me of my mama. And you can like look. She also sent you some rocks, right, my friend?
Yeah, I put them by my energy grid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I can recharge them. You know, when you mail them, they kind of die from energy.
Oh. Yeah.
Put them by the energy grid so they could recharge.
Yeah, so you can look at the rocks with the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Spectacles.
Yeah, I thought they were just like dorky little glasses, like legit glasses. I was like, what the heck? But then I looked at them, I'm like, why are these so? Oh, I know what they are. They're magnify glass, like glasses.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, they work pretty good. Working care, we go.
So what do you want to talk about? You want to show your tattoo that you just got?
Oh yeah, my tattoo.
While you were gone?
It's kind of hard to show it. It's like
yeah.
it likes to move around.
You want to talk about it?
Yep, there's my trident.
I tried it. You kind of just went and did that.
Yep.
You know, I'm not too happy about that, but.
Yep.
You know.
I don't really care.
I know.
This sounds messed up to people.
It's not
Like,
messed up. It don't
oh, you don't
matter.
care about your mom? I'm like, man, it's my body. I know
That's
it's.
right.
I told my brother
You're
it's gonna be on my body for the rest of my life.
Yep.
So I decided I'm gonna go kind of small so I can get a trident.
Yeah.
Next one is gonna be a giant stingray.
Well, you know,
or manta ray.
you know the reason. You know, I'm not opposed to tattoos. Obviously, I have a whole bunch of them. But you know the reason why I'm not happy about it is because you do have a bigger vision for what you want. You want basically, you know, a full sleeve.
Yes, I'm gonna get bitches.
And so that you don't do that by doing one piece at a time like that. You do that by getting the whole piece designed at once and then outlined, and then you just go in a little at a time as you get money and get it worked on. You know, when you do it piece by piece by piece.
Wow, look at that. Ooh, look how colorful that is.
You know.
And then it comes around, you're like, oh, is that a trident?
So that's why.
Oh.
I feel like you have enough tattoo education to know better than doing that little piece by piece. You should save up a little money and go in with a vision and just get it outlined. Save up a little more, get it filled in. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That way you bring your vision together in one big thing that flows together, goes together, you know? But anyway, what's the trident mean to you? You want to talk about it?
The trident?
Yeah.
It's just for my spiritual beliefs. I mean, yes, we're all shaman, like some of us, but like I have more spiritual beliefs on the other side of my mom, so it's like I believe in Greekology gods. Okay. And I'm very strong believing in them. I believe in Hades and Zeus and the god of war, which is sun. He's not my favorite god. I really like Hades though.
What was that? You don't know its name?
No.
Oh, okay.
I forgot. Aries.
Oh, okay. I was like, what was that?
I just noticed how it's bruised.
Yeah. Well, that's normal. it's pretty fresh. You just got it a couple days ago.
I know, you should have seen how swollen it was up front. It was big. It was all warped and funny looking because everyone was like, oh, it's crooked. I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually straight.
I swell up.
But then when you move it, it's like, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, it's a flying trident. Woo! It's moving in the air.
So you believe in the Greek gods, the Greek mythology.
I also believe in Egyptian gods too, which I want to plan on getting Egyptian tattoos and goddesses on this side, this arm, and then
the
Greek on this side.
Theme on that arm.
Yep.
Okay.
It's unique.
Mm-hmm. So in the trident in particular, because you have a trident in your turtle shell too.
I just really love the trident. It's an interesting symbol for me. I just feel strong for it. Makes me feel like I could do it. Feels like I have the power that I can do. Now the next tattoo I'm planning is a manta ray.
Manta ray?
Because the manta ray means something huge, and I think I need it because of the meaning of a manta ray.
Oh.
It means what's the word? What was the word for it? When you're developing and you're reborning into a new, kind of like reincarnation, but it's the evolving into a different spiritual belief. So the manta ray symbolizes real. I don't know the word.
Well, the stingray is a very spiritual animal spirit for me. I have 3 stingrays in my tattoo.
Stingrays. I said manta rays.
Yeah, I know. I said the stingray. I know manta rays are much larger than stingrays. They're huge.
And I think a manta ray would make sense because how big they are. But in the last 6 years, I changed spiritually in the last 6 years, hugely.
Of course, yeah.
And I think the manta ray would be perfect.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know if I want a black manta ray, like a normal manta ray, or like a tribal manta ray with symbols in it. You know, like kind of like a mandala. That's what it's called, right? They have patterns in it.
A mandala.
Mandala.
Or mandala.
Mandala. Like a mandala manta ray on my hand.
Mandela is the man. Like the
it confuses. There's so many words.
Mandala.
Close enough.
Mandala. I don't know. I know what you meant.
You guys know what I meant.
So what else? Your art group is getting back for the fall to start. You're excited. Tonight's the first night, so I'm taking you to that. Well, we went to the social a couple weeks ago, and
it was good.
You made a really cool
I forgot about
dish.
it. I just remembered.
So we did our dishes tonight. Well, for you, it's an ashtray.
Yep.
I'm gonna use mine for incense, to burn incense cones.
I could trade you if it doesn't look good.
What, mine?
Yeah, I'll use yours as an ashtray.
Mine's gonna look Chinese because I painted it all red with a black. Mine's gonna look really Chinese.
Gonna look like a freaking.
Yours is gonna look.
Mine's gonna look like a galaxy.
Yeah, yours is gonna be amazing.
Because someone said, "I wonder if you could do a galaxy pattern on the pottery," and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do it just to show off." Everyone's looking at me in the class because I'm doing like I'm doing like complicated and easy techniques you could do for pottery, painting pottery, and I'm like, it's gonna look bad, like sick. I'm blending colors in, and I'm like, oh, no. If I had rubbing alcohol, I could make it look even more unique.
Yeah. Well, you have natural talent to be able to know the techniques and stuff.
I experimented. What you do is you experiment.
Yeah. And then you figure out how to get the look you want.
I forgot what the color table was for this color makes this color. I just know the basics one. White and black. Add white to the color, it makes it lighter. Add black, it makes it darker. I just paint and go with the flow. Whatever it feels like to be mixed in.
So what else do you want to talk about? You have had a few seizures. You did have a bad experience at the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Do you want to
Are we planning to do anything to the hospital? It happened. The first time was messed up.
But do you want to talk about what happened or no?
Sure. Yeah. The first time wait. Are we talking about the seizures this week
let's not talk about all the times. Just talk about the last time.
Oh, the last time?
That just happened in July.
which one was that? Can you remind me? My memory's been kind of
Well,
facing today.
what was that big thing in front of us? Holy cow, that's like taking up 2 roads. That's so weird. It's like a big, huge something. I don't even know. So,
Looks like a giant power supply.
right?
Anyway.
So you went to the store. You told me you were going to go to the store, and I knew you were going to have a seizure because you were in a really bad mood. And it was hot outside. It was hot outside. And I waited, like, you said you'd be home in like 20 minutes, like 30 minutes.
That's
and
right. I really needed something to smoke, and I didn't want to bug my mom. She had a broken ankle or something like that. What was it? Yeah, broken ankle.
Like 2 weeks after I broke my ankle.
I didn't want to like bug my mom. And anyway, I just decided to go to the gas station. But then I realized when I was on my way to the gas station, the cigarettes there are way overpriced. They're like $4 more. So I decided to go to the other gas station another half mile down the road. And it's like 100 degrees outside and 100% humidity. And I didn't bring any water. And I only had enough money for the pack of smokes. And I wasn't thinking straight. So I walked back home. And like the symptoms of like heat stroke already kicked in. And I'm starting to see like double vision. And like I'm starting to hallucinate. I'm like, I can't even walk anymore. I'm like dragging my skateboard because I was like about to pass out. I'm pretty sure I did, and then I just had a seizure first. You never know.
So anyway, you had a seizure, and what happened is a policeman was just kind of patrolling the neighborhood, and people are so dumb.
What the fuck? That was against the law?
Well, it's because he's got an oversized load, so he can't turn sharp. He has to turn wide.
Anyway, Mom.
So, anyway, a policeman...
It is a power plant.
A policeman was patrolling the neighborhood, just routine, and saw you kind of stumbling on the
Probably
sidewalk.
thought I was drunk.
And he thought something was wrong, so he pulled over to ask you if you were okay. And then he said as soon as he got to you, you just went down and went into a seizure. So he called, EMS, and they came out. And, then they got your wallet out, figured out your address, and then he came knocking on my door. It took me a long time to get to the door because I had my broken ankle, and, it was fresh.
Yeah. No, I don't remember. I just want to say yeah.
So I went to the door, and the policeman tells me what happened. But by then, the EMS was already on scene, and they had already given you Versed. And I couldn't go to the hospital with you.
I'm allergic to Versed.
I didn't have a way to get out of my house with my broken ankle.
Anyway, yeah, I'm allergic to Versed, and they gave me Versed.
Well, I don't think it's that you're allergic. It's that
It's a side effect that I get. That's technically allergic. I mean, it's a bad side effect that people do not want.
So anyways, I couldn't go to the hospital with you because of my broken ankle. I had to call Dad. He was at work, and he had to come all the way home from work and pick me up because I couldn't drive and go to the hospital. So it delayed us getting there. By the time I actually got there, the ambulance had already had you there. And when I walked into the ER, I could hear you yelling, even from the waiting room of the ER.
I wasn't.
So,
I didn't remember anything. I was completely gone.
And I got to the
In my
front,
head.
and I identified myself, identified you. The lady says, "Oh, are you his mother?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, good. Will he calm down if I let you back there?" And I said, "Yes, he will." So she immediately let me back there. But as soon as I got there, there was 8 people with their hands on you, and they had strapped down your arms and legs.
Oh yeah, that's when I barely woke up.
In these very
and I remember, I don't remember anything from the day before or whatever happened. I don't even remember having the seizure. I just remember I woke up and they were grabbing my hair, pulling my hair back, and pulling my arm behind my back, my bad arm. They were twisting my arm that I had surgery on.
Contorted in very unnatural positions.
And basically it was security brutality and nurses brutality.
Well, the security
That's how I would
was
look
there
at it.
as well. And so I calmly told them, that they needed to back off, that you weren't going to calm down with so many people being on you.
It's my disorder.
And as soon as you heard my voice, you started crying, and you said, "Mom, Mom, Mom." And I said, "See, just let me in there." But they wouldn't let me in. And
Didn't they say something to you?
Yeah, the doctor came at me and got in my face, and then he sent the security guard out at me, and I wasn't even in the room. I was like standing outside of it. I was standing outside of it, and the whole time you're crying for me, and the security guard comes and tells me that I have to leave and go in the waiting room, and I was completely calm. I wasn't hysterical or anything.
I'm pretty sure I was scared at the moment for my life.
That's what I told them. I said, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
First they drugged me without
I'm your power
consent.
of attorney, and I'm there to advocate for you, and I am not leaving. And then he threatens to call the police and have me arrested. And I told him, go ahead then.
I remember that.
And the whole time you're crying, Mom, Mom. And all I keep telling them is, if they would just take their hands off you and back off, I can come in there and calm you down. But they would not listen to me. And the thing of it is yes, they were pulling your hair, and yes, they had your body contorted in very unnatural positions. Your wrist was hurting for.
Of course, I was scared for my. I'm scared for my life because all the cops in our neighborhood know not to be near me when I'm having a seizure because they know when I wake up, I don't know where I am. I don't remember how I got there.
Right.
And I'm super scared, and I start screaming and get violent. But then they gave me Versed and made the situation worse.
Right. And the doctor was very, he tried telling me oh, well, this is the second time that you've been brought in by police, and that you're addicted to benzodiazepines.
What the hell is benzodiazepine?
That's what Versed is, Ativan. Those are benzodiazepines.
Now that I'm allergic to, right?
Right, so I had to...
I am allergic to Ativan.
The point of it is he was trying to paint this picture of you. Do you need to stop for cigarettes or anything?
No.
He was trying to paint this picture of you as being
a drug addict.
Yes.
And after I heard about that, I was like...
And a troublemaker because the police brought you in, which isn't even true. The police did not bring you in, which isn't even true.
So now they false identified.
But the point of it is, even if those things were true...
Actually, I would have...
give them the right to treat you that way.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we also made complaints that I'm autistic, high functioning autism, and we complained about that, and yes, they wrote us back and said sorry, but they still, look what happened again.
Right, because this has happened
4 times?
Multiple times.
4 or 5 times.
Where they end up snowing you with propofol, and then they have to intubate you, and then you're in ICU on a ventilator, and all this kind of BS that really doesn't even need to be happening.
I had some bad seizures in my life.
Well, it's not really the seizures that's causing that. It's the hospital that's causing it.
Well, they're making it worse.
Yes.
They're feeding on my PTSD. Now I'm going to be scared. This is... One of the doctors pointed out that you could actually be allergic of doctor's offices, which is true. Because every time I go to a doctor's office, I get anxiety, and I don't want to be in there, and I get claustrophobic, and then I'm in and out of the room, and then the doctor yells at me, but he knows that I'm allergic of the doctor office. So what do you think I feel like in a hospital?
Right.
And then they're all over me.
Yeah.
And because I have PTSD triggered seizures,
believe me,
and the nurses are over me holding me down,
yes.
and you wake up from having a PTSD triggered seizure, what's going to happen?
Okay, but here's the thing of it though. There's 2 factors to this. You have seizures at home, and I don't call the ambulance, and you don't get violent like that.
And they only last 30 seconds to 5 minutes. Depends.
Yeah,
some of them. The recent ones, yes.
Well, more recent ones are shorter, yes. But
except that one put me back to the
you
hospital.
used to have them quite a long time, even up to 4
And you would
hours.
just let me have them.
But the point of it is that you're not getting violent, or in any way am I afraid, or do I have to restrain you when we're at home? So yeah.
I mean, that's standard protocol.
Right.
Not anymore, really. I don't really have them that much. They're kind of starting to drift off, disappear.
Well, and you went.
And they're
you went 8 months without having anything.
And they did. I had one last week, and they didn't drug me.
Yeah.
And I walked out of the ambulance all by myself after I woke up, and the EMS sat with me for 30-40 minutes because I couldn't feel my legs still. My legs were still tingling and numb.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get up.
Yes.
I couldn't feel anything, actually.
So that one was when you went out with your brother to go play Magic at the card shop.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And it was, I got triggered because of the anxiety was so intense, and all the people were talking, and it's really loud in there. There's probably about 50 people in there playing Magic.
That's a lot. Why?
there's two buildings full.
Yeah.
One's full of like 30 kids.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you got through your seizure without being
Medication.
Without medication, and
Yep.
you just came. Yeah.
Which is
Or having to
that's
go to
improvement.
the hospital.
Yeah,
or
that's
having to go to the
improvement.
hospital.
Well, I didn't want to go to the hospital for reasons.
Yeah, because
Like,
they're
I'm scared.
abusive.
I'm scared to go to the
Because
hospital.
they're abusive. Yeah. They're very controlling. They're very demanding. They're very abusive.
And we're the one paying them.
You know, if they
To help
want
us.
a urine sample and you don't want to give it, they'll threaten to put a catheter in you, and they're just very like.
Oh, that happened? I don't remember.
Yes, that's why I always have to be there, especially after they give you the Versed, because you know it makes you a little out of it sometimes, and
I'd rather pee myself.
you know
the catheter
they get
hurts.
super demanding, and I have to step in and tell them no. You know, they become very insistent.
Insistent.
You know, they don't seem to recognize that it's your body, it's your right.
This is a good conversation. Gets out my frustration at the hospital.
Well, I'm frustrated
A
too.
hospital.
I'm really sick and tired of it. I'm at my point now where it's happened too many times.
All my
Too
friends,
many
I
abuses.
told my friends,
I'm done with that.
I told my friends about that story, and they all thought it was messed up.
Yeah.
They were like,
Terrible.
"What kind of hospital does that?" And I'm like, "This one."
Well, it's that doctor too. He's terrible.
Oh, and it's the same doctor every time.
Terrible.
We don't plan to get the same doctor every time. It just happens.
Yeah.
It's like I think he purposely chooses me. That's what I feel like.
Well, in all honesty, you know, because I have that shamanic, you know, sort of, I can see past things somewhat. You know what I'm saying? And like I see in him, he's got a very sadistic impulse.
He's broken.
You know.
He's evil.
Well,
That doctor's
he's
evil.
got control issues.
The first time I ever met that doctor, I was having a seizure, and the way he woke me up was sticking pneumonia.
That's not the same doctor.
Was
It's a
it?
different one.
Oh, it's a different one. But still, the point is that one of the doctors stuck pneumonia, or is it pneumonia, right? Or is it-
Ammonia.
Ammonia. Pneumonia and ammonia sounds the same. You know,
It
these
does.
words today are complex.
Ammonia is a chemical.
Ammonia,
A toxic chemical.
a toxic chemical. Yes. And I'm pretty sure, because my sister is a nurse, and she said you're only supposed to stick ammonia near the nose to wake the patient up.
Right.
They stuck it up my nose and let it sit there for like 30 minutes. I had really bad burns. It burned the skin off my nose. I had a bloody nose for like a
Well,
month.
I filed a complaint with the hospital, and I'm pretty sure they fired that doctor because I never saw him again after that. That was a whole
and then
different doctor.
and then that
hospital.
that doctor also said I was making it all up.
Yeah.
He was basically a country douchebag.
Well. Anyway, you've
kinda brutal,
had to
but-
go through a lot of abuse, and it's no wonder you don't like the hospital. So, and
Oh, is it tilted?
and I really, you know, I really try to not call EMS when you're having a seizure for that reason, because then they want to give you drugs and transport you to the hospital. And I don't like it any more than you do. Trust me, I don't. So I avoid it. But sometimes, like when you're out, you know, playing magic, I'm not around, and the people that are there seeing the seizure, they get scared and they call 911.
Yeah.
You know, and so and you have to deal with that when you're out in public. That's what happens, you know. Like last time, they gave you the Versed before I even knew you were having a seizure. You know, the policeman came to the door and told me the ambulance had already been there and had already given you the Versed. So that's why I'm making you a new emergency card that says in bright big letters, red letters, no Versed, do not give Versed. Because, you know, if they give it to you, then they have to take you to the emergency room
Yeah, they have to.
by law, because they've administered a medication.
If they see me seizing, and they should just protect my head, I think,
And leave you alone.
and leave me alone.
Yeah.
Just like protect my head and just leave me alone and let me
That's
go
what I
through
tried
it.
telling them to just get your hands off there, because there's too many people that get in there with their hands on you.
And I think most autistic kids like hard touching with seizures. I read they like hard touching, physical contact that's like rough. And I'm gentle. I'm like a gentle person. I'm like a teddy bear. They have,
Right.
They have
You
to
don't
barely
like-
touch
you
me.
don't
I don't
like
like
touching. You
I
don't
don't
like
like people when they
touching.
grab me, and I'm like,
No.
it freaks me out even
Yes.
more.
Your seizure gets worse.
Justin pointed that out, and because the EMS was actually asking, they were actually carrying.
Wow.
The guys were really nice, and they said, does he like hard contact or soft contact when we pick him up?
See, they're trained, they're more attuned to
in this city.
Yeah.
Here in those towns are way different.
Very interesting.
They just pick you up and throw you on the thing. That's what it feels like.
Oh wow, I've had EMTs yelling at you while you're having a seizure. They're yelling at you, and I'm telling them, I don't know why you're yelling at him. He cannot. He's not conscious to hear you.
They just do it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I only remember waking up from that one time. That bad one was in July. That one that I had. That they wouldn't let you in the hospital technically.
Yeah, that was in July.
Yeah, that one.
Today's September.
I don't remember that one at all. I don't even remember how I got home and I wasn't even wearing a shirt.
Well, because they drugged the crap out of you. They not only gave you 10 milligrams of Versed, which is a freaking lot.
Oh, 10?
Yeah.
They only get, when before I had like reactions to Ativan, they only gave me 5, and then they bumped it up to 10, and then I started having allergic reactions to it.
It's not called an allergic reaction. It's called a paradoxical reaction.
Paradoxical reaction.
Anyways, that's what you're having, the paradoxical reaction. It means it's having the opposite effect on you.
But it's not even helping, it's making it worse.
Yeah, but you're not the only one.
Ativan and Haldol is it Ativan and Haldol? What's Haldol do? Same thing?
Haldol's the one that gives you tardive dyskinesia.
Haldol and Trieptal makes me get
tardive dyskinesia.
Dyskinesia. I can't say it.
He looks like a circus performer or something.
That's
right?
fucked up.
No, it really doesn't.
I was thinking about rolling my window down and saying, nice mustache.
He looks like one of those guys like that would do a show in downtown Austin where he like swallows swords or knives or something. I don't know. He was very hipster.
It's this town.
Yeah, he's definitely very hipster-y.
It's this town.
Yeah, it is this town.
This town right here in the
Austin,
neighborhood.
Texas.
Yep. Oh, I thought you didn't want me to say a city.
Well,
so
yeah,
I didn't. I
Austin.
said this town. That's
Austin, Texas. Anyway, back to the thing. Yeah, I mean, you've been through a lot of trauma, and I've been right there along with you, not experiencing it firsthand, but experiencing it as a witness and your mother. You know, so it's been very traumatizing for me too. Trust me. Because
it makes you feel any better.
There must be a band.
If it makes everyone feel better, that's a nice bike.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a beautiful bike.
That's a tour bus right there. It's a band or something.
That is a gorgeous bike. Anyway, I was gonna say, with my PTSD flashbacks, I had one at my brother's house, and now when I had it in my dream, I remember detail by detail of some of the moments outside my body that I don't want to talk about, but I just wanted to bring it up and say to everybody that when I was having a flashback, one of my seizures.
You're talking about the seizure you had in your sleep?
Yeah, the one in my sleep.
I
was dreaming that I was in the incident that I had when I was with PTSD. That diagnosed me with PTSD.
Right.
And then I remembered it all, and like it's so messed up. It's been bugging me for my days or whatever.
Well, maybe
it's
you
like
can talk about it with somebody.
That's why I need a therapist, but no, it's really complex, and the government and.
I mean, I could do that. We can do that. Now that I'm back to driving again, I can do that. It's just weird. It's like a walk-in system.
Oh. Yeah, it is weird. I kind of want to see that older guy again if he's there.
I don't think that guy's there anymore.
I like him. He was really nice. He wasn't like that other therapist that was over here that was like, I'm like talking about my problems. He takes out his nose spray. He goes, and I was like, yeah, sorry, it's just allergies, you know. And then I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, you know. And then you think he's done, and then he takes out his like, what was it else? Then he takes out his food, and then he starts eating, and then he starts texting too.
Did you say he was clipping his nails?
Oh yeah, he was clipping his nails too. That therapist has 5 stars on Google, and he was clipping his nails during my session, and I'm like, ugh. And he's like throwing them on the ground.
That's really weird.
Anyway,
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right.
Bye,
well,
YouTube.
Bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube fans. We love you. Thanks for watching.
I love what's your name again? Allison?
Allison. Jared says thank you.
Thank you for the rocks and the glasses, Allison.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.